Hello, everybody. Today we are playing Death is Sunhaired. We are also gonna turn this music down. Ooh, a different screen type. I guess we're gonna leave the text as it is. I'm so into like dark fantasy, gothic type stuff right now. I'm so in love with it right now. But anyway, I hope this is recording the right thing because I played a different game, right? And there was so many twists and turns, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I went to edit it, and I was recording the wrong screen the entire time. I'm still gonna play that game, but I'm gonna have to wait until I like kind of forget about it. Otherwise, it's gonna be really boring because it won't be as authentic. Anyway, Death is Sunhaired. Horror romance. You're living in a 19th century village where no one understands you. Suddenly, all your fellow men start dying, and you are sent on a one-way quest to the Lord's castle. Will you be able to make it back alive and continue to be yourself? I guess this... okay, so it says here, full short story is Josai Jam entry release plus a Yandere Jam 2026 update. Interesting. We also have a fundraiser going. I wonder if that's still active? Probably. Dedicated to the man who called himself Sunhaired. Okay, so one toxic Slavic vampire who is in love with you. Gender selection that affects the story. 5 endings. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so I guess we'll start as a girl. Right? Well, let's start in general. Oh, you hear that? It's nostalgic. Okay. The longer you trudge through the hellish storm, the angrier you get. Your clothing is completely soaked through, the sodden fabric making your arduous journey even harder, impeding your movement while the chill sinks into your bones. I love this art though. Like this is so pretty. It was a fool's errand to even attempt this, but you have no other choice. Even if you were to turn back, it would take you just as long to return to the village than to arrive at your intended destination. And if you were to show your face without any news, if you had to tell them that you simply gave up, the surviving residents of 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖚𝖓𝖙, I don't know, have forgiven you for so much in your life, but you know that they would never forgive you for that. You couldn't survive being a wife, play as a female, you never lived up to the expectations as a man, play as a male, you never fit in at all, play as non-binary. Oh, okay, we're gonna do female. Interesting, they have a non-binary option. With your parents locked dead in the ground and your own health frail, you could have been the heroine of one of those dramatic novels, fainting every which way. But in a village like you were from, even a sickly orphan girl is meant to pull her weight. You cooked and cleaned and helped manage the household of the family who took you in after your parents' death. You know, I'm gonna put some lip gloss on. This is not a habit of mine. I mean like I'm not doing it intentionally, where I just always forget to put it on before I record. I just happen to record spontaneously. I don't really plan it out, like, oh, I'm gonna record it this time on this day. It's just like, oh, I need to record a video at some point within this week, within this next 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. So, I'm gonna put lip gloss on real quick. And probably cut that out of the video. We'll see. This alone took up much of your energy. How would you ever manage to be a mother on top of it? I know, crazy. So far, you had turned down every man who had asked for your hand in marriage, but you didn't know how long that would last. It wouldn't matter to those husbands whether or not you could survive carrying a child. With your health, did we all hear that? With your health, going on this journey was a dangerous idea in the first place, even without the storm. But if anyone could have the resources to stop the plague sweeping through the village, it would be the Lord of the land, wouldn't it? A squall of wind hits your chest, nearly making you double over in pain. It takes all the strength you have to keep walking forward. With each moment, the storm intensifies, slowing your movement even further. But you will not give up. You can't. No matter what. You keep putting one foot in front of the other, trying to focus on the repetitive motion rather than the other terrible sensations around you. You raise one foot, move it forward, put it back down, then repeat with the other foot, and again. Over and over again. I love the variety. I love the gargoyles on this bridge. I love the variety of shots, though, is what I was going to say. You're so immersed in this feeling that when one foot gets stuck in the mud or on a tree root or something, it completely shocks you. When you fall to the ground, your vision goes completely dark. Something is off when you next come to. You're not laid flat in the mud. You're in a bed. One much softer than the one you're used to. It is comfortable, and comfort is something you've known little of in your life. Feeling it now is simply strange. You are warm in the blankets, swaddling you. But there's also something cool touching your hand. I hope I'm louder than the music, but I can't. Let me see. If I turn the music up just a little bit, we'll turn it down just a little. When you open your eyes, you see a man staring down at you, a desperately love-struck expression on his face. Vassal? Okay. 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖓𝖙, you're finally awake. I've been waiting for this day to come. It's me, your husband, Vasily. Huh? You blink once, twice, 3 times, hoping that things would make sense. They do not. First of all, your name is... Oh, I can choose my name? This looks like my name. How do I actually implement? Okay. He doesn't even know your name. Yet he's talking as if you've known each other for a long time. Oh, I love this font. You must have me confused with someone else. My name is Cass. Your voice is scratchy in your throat. You just have to hope that he could hear you, because you don't think you can get any louder without straining yourself. I'm sure you must be disappointed, looking for one woman and looking for one woman and ending up with another. The man smiles at you, as if he had anticipated your reaction. I am not surprised that you do not remember me. It has been so long. I think even the most devoted wife would lose a few details eventually. Does he think I'm a vampire? Am I a reincarnation of his lost love? Or is he just delusional? I guess we'll find out. But I know you very well. Your hair, your eyes, your skin. You are the spitting image in all the ways that matter. So did you know, I feel like I've mentioned this before, spitting image is not what the phrase is. It's spit and image. Which if you knew anything about making sculptures, particularly busts, I believe, then you would understand that. But a lot of people don't. And I think that's funny that everybody gets it wrong. I actually learned that from somebody. If you weren't so ill, you would practically be her doppelganger. This man seems to have left reality behind a long time ago. Play along with this assertion? Insist that he is wrong. Okay, my thing is, if I play along, am I gonna say, yes, of course, I'm her? Because I don't want to do that. And if I insist that he's wrong, am I gonna be like mean about it? I don't want to do that either. We're gonna insist he's wrong. There must be some kind of misunderstanding. I don't know you. We've never met. I can't be your 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖓𝖙. You are. You might have different memories now, but that matters not. I would know my own wife. Right, okay. I'm just a peasant from your village, sir. Vasily looks at you, confused. Village? The one I came from. You do have the title of the land surrounding this area, do you not? Well, yes, but now that you're here, you don't need to worry about that dreadful place anymore, do you? Don't talk about my village like that. Nah, you right. That village sucks. But like, you're the lord of the village. Like, take better care of it, dog. I suppose I don't. Don't talk about my village like that. I mean, it's also your village though. Like, that's what's got me. I don't know. I don't know. I think the closest to something I would have actually said is probably don't talk about my village like that. Cause like, I suppose I don't is just rolling over too easy. Like, girl, you don't even really understand what's happening. Why would I say that? You might not have wanted to take responsibility for it, but it is your village, as much as mine, if not more so. Any shortcomings we have can be laid at your feet. She said, this is your fault. And that's what I meant. I probably would have said something too, like that. You, my dear, have no shortcomings at all, but I do understand what you are trying to say. Vasily looks away from you for a brief moment, as if mulling over what next to say. Unfortunately, like you, I have also not been in very good health. It has prevented me from carrying out many of the Lord's required duties, and for that I apologize. Good, you should be sorry. It seems to be serendipity alone which brought you to my side. Perhaps the two of us can recover together, and then I can help your compatriots. You'd be able to help us with the plague? A plague? Bro, you really know nothing going on. Yes. Many of the townspeople have succumbed to it. Do you know anything about it? I'm not sure. Do you believe the illness you have now is your village's plague? No. I've been ill my whole life. The plague that's been spreading, it starts with a rash on the neck, and I've never had that. I see. If it's something like a rash, then most likely it's being spread by pests, isn't it? Rats and the like. But on the neck? If people were being bitten by rats, wouldn't people getting rashes all over? Yeah, that sentence just isn't right. Okay. On their hands and arms and legs? I don't know. Okay. It's your fault for real then. Suddenly, Wesley raised his voice at you. Do I seem like an expert on rodents to you? Oh, you don't even gotta flash your glowing eyes at me, dog. I would just say you didn't make no sense. The sudden commotion caused a squeak to emanate from the other side of the room. In the corner of your eye, you can see a quick movement from under a small table. I don't know, you got rodents yourself, so maybe. I'm gonna say yes, cause that's what I just said, low-key. Yes, no, I'm gonna say yes. Well, considering the condition of this building, it does seem likely that you would know more than most nobles about pests. It occurs to you that you haven't seen any servants around, only Vasily. Perhaps you dismissed them and they're just not in this room. But it also seems likely that he lives completely alone. You do have a point. This castle has seen much better days. I no longer have the funds to maintain a full retinue of staff, and I do not have the energy to clean this entire building myself. I'm afraid that this room you're in is one of the least affected areas of the estate. Liza was always much better than me at the day-to-day aspects of running an estate. Since she passed, it has been a struggle to take her reins, so to speak. Are you tired, dear? Huh? You felt fine, but now that you think about it, it's a struggle to keep your eyes open. Why are you getting closer? Vasily moves a hand to tuck a lock of hair behind your ear. You don't have enough strength to bat him away, so you let him. I will return when you're ready. Sleep well. That night, you were blessed with the miracle of dreamless sleep. It gives you a sense of familiarity that has been missing from your journey of recovery in this castle. All your life, your sleep has been unencumbered by either dreams or nightmares. Unencumbered? I'm not gonna look that up right now, but I feel like they may have not used that right. And while sometimes you are jealous of the nighttime adventures others have, usually you are glad to not be hunted by imagined ghosts. You can't tell how long has passed, but there are no clocks, and only a dim red light suffuses the room. I love the language they use, like all these nice, pretty words. Oh, wait, can I go back? Okay, was the sun setting or rising? Did you just like shimmer into the room? Next to you sits Vasily. A servant stands at the door, but the area is so shadowed that you can barely tell they're a person, let alone anything else about them. They went ham with these backgrounds. They're like always changing. Are you feeling better now, my dear? Putting aside his unyielding affections for a moment, you take a full accounting of your own health. You wouldn't say you feel strong, so to speak. You rarely do, even in more favorable environments. But thankfully, you no longer feel like you're lingering at death's doorstep. Whether it was Vasily who tended to you, or the servant lurking beneath the door frame, beneath the doorframe. Okay. You do have to admit that you are doing much better. Are you feeling better? I would answer politely. Because you did take care of me, question mark. At least I feel better. So answer politely, answer bluntly, politely. I am. Thank you. It was no trouble at all, Cass. Your needs will always be tended to, as long as you reside here. The sentiment seems somewhat overblown. The two of you barely know each other, but you do appreciate his care. Do you believe that you'd be able to walk? I think so. I did bring a servant to help you dress. I'd like for us to walk the grounds together, if you'd be amenable. The servant steps forward, stepping just enough into the dim candlelight that their features become just barely visible. Even close to you, you have trouble identifying any defining features. They're just a shadow. Wait, are they just a shadow? I don't know, now you tripped me out, but okay. She looks down, giving you a quick curtsy. I assumed you would be much more comfortable being dressed by a maid rather than myself, and you would be right. Luckily, 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖚's dress should fit you well. You putting me in your dead wife's dress is funny. But not funny haha, funny weird. Alright. You don't have anything else to do, so you might as well accept his offer. It might help to become more familiar with just where exactly you're being held. The maid quickly takes off your bedclothes. Was she the one who put them on you in the first place? And begins to dress you in one of 𝖈𝖚's old dresses. You had expected some kind of grand garment, but instead the dress is rather plain and entirely black in color. The maid assures that it was part of 𝖈𝖚's regular wardrobe, not a morning dress, but otherwise deflects nearly every question you ask of her. Although now in intimately close proximity to you, her face seems even less defined. It isn't long before you're shooed out of the room in your new outfit, and then led along until reaching a grand hall. Hello, Cass. Do you think you've regained enough strength to walk outside? I believe so, yes. It had taken a few moments for you to balance on your feet again. It must have been over a day since you last walked, but before long you were moving around naturally. Splendid. If you do feel weak, please tell me right away. I can carry you. Question him, thank him. I'm finna question him. Why you wanna go on a walk? Something seems off. Are you sure? I recall you saying that you weren't in very good health yourself. Vasily smiles at you. A sweet expression, like reenacting an old joke with a dear friend. You're very attentive. There's no need to worry about me. I'm feeling quite well tonight, even if I weren't. My illness has never particularly affected my carrying strength. Right. Now, come along. The outdoors await. Vasily grabs you gently by the arm, pulling you forward. Though his movements are not forceful, you feel it nigh impossible to escape his grip, even if you wanted to. You say you not running from me. Okay. Okay. With his free hand, he opens the door, revealing very little. It is nighttime, although barely so. The last dregs of sunlight illuminate the scenery just enough to make out the outlines of your surroundings. Okay, I thought I saw something else moving. His hair is moving. Did I take too long to get ready? No, not at all. This is the perfect time for an outing. Is it? Oh, it is? Vasily nods as he pats your arm, a clear signal to start moving. Indeed. I know it might seem rather strange to you. If I could take you out during the daytime, I would. My illness prevents me from going out into the sun. I get terrible burns and rashes. You know what's funny? I know someone that also is allergic to the sun. So like, before I'd be like, that's so crazy. Vampire. No, I actually know somebody that's allergic to the sun. Which is still crazy, but they're not a vampire. I see. And is that also why you haven't been able to carry out your noble duties? It is a large part of why, yes. It is very difficult to make arrangements that prevent me from going into daylight, and the rashes are so painful that accidental exposure renders me nearly immobile. He looks up, his eyes scanning the horizon. The sky is not quite black yet. In fact, it is just about the same color as Vasily's hair. This is about the earliest I can safely go outside, so your timing was perfect. We have the whole night ahead of us, if you'd like. While the sky above is beautiful, the grounds are somewhat less so. As you walk, he tells of a long ago gathering that happened here, when the property was still fit to show others. Treading lightly along an overgrown path, he tells you of a truly marvelous party held shortly after he and 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖚. I don't know why it's because I keep wanting to say Eliz. It could be Elizaveta? It might be Elizaveta. Married. How the two of them held. This is so gorge. If I had the money for like a mansion, bro, I would make it look gothic for sure. I'd pour the money into that. None of this modern millennial gray stuff. Beige mom, no. Anyway. How the two of them held hands and laughed with their friends as the sunlight shone dappled through the trees. I haven't seen the word dappled in so long. At one point, he leads you into the ruins of what was once a statue garden, but was now surrounded by family graves. Vasily regales you with the histories of the long-dead ancestors that had once walked the land. He talks so much that you cannot get a single word in. Perhaps if you felt ill or weak, he might listen, but otherwise he seems primarily interested in sharing stories he likely hadn't been able to share with anyone. His verbal tour doesn't come to a lull until sometime later, when Vasily squeezes your arm and slows to a stop. I would have checked out probably. You ain't let me talk? I'm not listening anymore. He looks down, and you follow his gaze. Are we at her grave? Because that's creepy. At your feet stays a gravestone, lit only by the blood moon. A single legible word is revealed. Elizaveta. Why would you bring me to her grave? You are such a weirdo. You're such a weirdo. The stone is heavily weathered, just like the statues, but it also shows signs of having been intentionally damaged. Below her name, the dates of birth and death have been roughly carved away, leaving slip-sawed. I've never seen this word. Slip-sawed gashes on the memorial. One of these days, I'm going to go back through all of my videos, right? And I'm going to write down all the words that I keep saying I've never seen before, and I'm going to actually learn them. Next to the grave is a hole, large enough to fit an adult man. Did you bring me also to your grave? Or is this my grave? Because both are weird. One is weirder than the other, though. This is where my dearest... See, because then it wouldn't be Liza. It would be Liza. So it's 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖓𝖙. This is where my dearest Liza rests. And next to it is where I will rest too, if I ever fall into the clutches of death myself. If? Fastly laughed slightly, although there's very little mirth in the sound. A small morsel of dark humor. Forgive me, Cass. Sometimes one has to make their own levity when life grows bleak. He looks back down at 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖓𝖙's gravestone, staring at it resolutely, an uninterruptible expression across his uninterruptible expression across his face. I dare say only the most powerful of beings could find a way to cheat death. He says nothing else for some time. It occurs to you that if you are willing to interrupt the moment, this may be a chance to finally talk to him. I knew you were going to give me a moment. What happened to the gravestone? When did you become ill? Say nothing. I'ma ask questions. Why? Because why did you bring me to her grave? I'm gonna ask what happened to the gravestone. I am curious about when you became ill, but I feel like you'll give me some weird roundabout answer. That won't help me at all. Those markings on the grave, where her birthday and death day should be, what happened? It doesn't look weathered like the rest of the stone. Simply a vandal. Nothing more. And why would they do that? You'd certainly seen your fair share of vandalism in your time. But this seemed like a strange explanation for the gravestone. Because it is. This grave sits on a lord's lands. As little attended as they are, far away from most other civilizations. Why would petty vandals venture this far out, and then risk punishment for defacing a noble's grave? And why would they only chip away the dates, leaving her name? You look at Vasily, wanting to ask him further, but his darkened countenance gives you pause. I don't know what that means either. Oh! Glowing eyes are back. He is frowning now, an expression more severe than you've seen on him throughout your entire outing. You are not sure You are not sure that you would survive asking him more about the gravestone. Press for more information, change the subject. Honestly, it's not that deep. I already know that you're a liar, okay? It's fine. That's all I really wanted to know. I'm gonna just change the subject. Before you can change your mind, you quickly change the subject. You prefer to keep your head on your shoulders. Oh, I should have saved that. Oh well. Is there anywhere close? Is there anywhere close by we can sit down? My legs are feeling a bit wobbly. The words scarcely leave your lips before one of your knees gives way. With a sharp inhale, you balance yourself with 𝖈𝖔𝖚𝖓𝖙's gravestone. I mean, I'd feel bad, but what can I do? And the glowing's gone. Do you need me to carry you? No, I just need to rest my feet for a moment, and then we can walk back to the castle together. Hopefully your emphasis on the word we acts as enough of a hint. Yes, of course. I know one of the old benches is around here somewhere. He guides you to a secluded part of the grounds, wiping leaves off of the bench that is otherwise still in good enough condition to be usable. He gently sits you down on one side, then takes his place beside you. He's just close enough to be overly familiar, yet not enough for you to tell him to move away. We can stay here for as long as you need to. Well, as long as the sun isn't out, I suppose. But we have some time yet. There is no need to rush. You were being honest about your legs. You never had much physical endurance to begin with, and laying in bed for so long had weakened you even further. It is now the deepest, darkest part of night, long after sunset and long before sunrise. You would normally be asleep, but spending days resting in the home of a nocturnal man has changed you. At least for now. I've been here... what, a couple days? What do you mean spending days? Maybe a day and a half? Maybe a full day now? It makes you uneasy. You want to go back to your old routine. Something about this place, about 𝖈𝖔𝖚, is wrong. You don't want to return to the village empty-handed, but his usefulness towards solving the plague has yet to be determined. And this is something too big to make a decision on right now. You need to think on it even more, and to do that, you'll need to return to the castle. The journey back to the mansion goes by quick, as 𝖈𝖔𝖚's concluded tour leaves enough room for you to recount your own tales. You discuss much of 𝖈𝖔𝖚. 𝖈𝖔𝖚 appears rather ill-informed of his own territory. A small rat scurries across your path, interrupting your thoughts. Just how many could inhabit these grounds? A lot? They're huge! Once the two of you retreat back inside, you expect him to leave you with a servant, but instead he insists on taking you back to your bedroom. That is what he calls the room you've been resting in. You are tired enough by now that you let him stay without qualm. You do, however, insist that he does not stay in the room while you are trying to sleep. In exchange, he makes a show of making sure you are comfortable before he is satisfied enough to allow himself to leave. The whole thing exhausts you even more so than the walk did. Once you are finally alone, it does not take long to slip into slumber. You had never been on the grand adventures that other people had experienced in their dreams, but you also never experienced the terrors that could follow you into your waking days. A fair trade, you believed. Yet, on this night, you have a dream. Even as you watch it, you can't tell what it means. There's a figure, a person, a woman probably. She's turned away from you. You can tell that she's wearing a dress, but you cannot make out any particular details of it, only that it is black, as if she is a widow in mourning. The woman in black does not talk. She simply stands there, unmoving. Finally, her head turns, as if she was getting ready to speak to you, and then you wake up. When you return to the waking world, you try to wipe away the confusion and sensible thoughts. It's just a dream. Most people have dreams. It's normal. But you can't keep the unease away. Burning questions claw and scratch unceasingly. Why here? Why now? Your ill mood is intensified by the fatigue in your limbs. Last night's walk took more out of you than you expected, and now you don't know if you will even be able to get out of bed at all today. If it is, in fact, daytime, like before, the dull red lighting is the same. With no clocks anywhere in the room, you have no way of knowing how long you've been asleep. Get a stick. Tell with the sunlight. The room isn't completely dark. However, there are a handful of candles scattered around on tables, their flames gently flickering. Oh! One of these candles illuminates the outline of a human figure, 𝖈𝖔𝖚. The fire's refraction makes him seem almost like an otherworldly figure, a being who shouldn't exist in this world. But you dismiss the thought as a wild fantasy of the drowsy and instead consider how to start off your day. Call out to 𝖈𝖔𝖚. Wait for him to address you. I'd probably call out to him. Be like, hey guy, how long have you been there? Also, what day is it? Good morning, 𝖈𝖔𝖚. He looks toward you, then approaches your bedside. Without the fire so close, his silhouette solidifies, becoming a steady presence rather than an almost ghost. Good morning, Cass. I hope you slept well. Very. I don't think I've ever slept better in my life. It was a lie, but you did not want to be a bad guest so soon. Despite how run down everything is, it's still a level of comfort far greater than you're used to. However, a single night of sleep hasn't performed a miracle. You still feel too weak to get out of bed. How long have I been asleep? Long enough to start building up your strength. That's what's most important, yes? But I feel weaker. I feel weaker. I suppose. It'll be hard to get used to your regular schedule once you get back home. But at this pace, that won't be a while yet. The view is beautiful. You can see a fountain through the thick glass of the tall windows. Isn't it? That's why I made sure to have you rest in this room. Looking at the scene always invigorates me. I imagine you'll be running around the grounds again in no time. Again. Sure. It's a fun thought, although you feel like he's overstating it a bit. Are you illiterate? I'm sorry, I know that's a valid question, but that is so funny. He said, can you read and or write? That is so funny. That is so funny. Actually, can you write if you can't read? I feel like you can, right? To an extent. I can bring you some books, if you'd like. Please do. It might not be the most fruitful idea. While you can read, you worry that the books he has might be the dry, verbose sort that you have trouble with. This lady creeped me out. Is she talk to? For a moment, you think he's going to leave the room, but instead he starts conversing with a maid who has been hiding in the shadows so discreetly you hadn't noticed her at all. She leaves quietly, then a few minutes later reappears with a stack of books in her arms. 𝖈𝖔𝖚 thanks her as he transfers the books from her arms to his, inspecting each spine as he goes. Very good, very good. He places the stack next to you, taking care not to accidentally be too forceful. These should be suitably diverting, I think. Please tell me, or one of the maids, if you need more light to read by. Right, so why you got so many maids? As in plural. When you were just saying you ain't got no money. And you ain't got no money because your people are dying. And you've abandoned them, pretty much. Sus! I will. Thank you. Before the days of the plague, when sickness did not ooze out of every door and hope outweighed fear, we often read to the village children. The kids, many of whom could not yet read, would gather and listen hungrily. Sometimes, if your energy allowed, you'd try to teach them a written word or two. While their parents hated how little you could do for the village, they seemed to appreciate the entertainment you could provide for their children. Not that it ever lessened their biting dislike for you. Pick the top book off the stack and start reading. To your surprise, it isn't some kind of dry history or records like you thought a noble might have in his home, but rather a novel. And it's a rather scandalous one, actually. Even though you're reading silently and nobody can see over your shoulder, you can't help but feel like you're reading something you shouldn't. But something about seeing these characters in your mind's eye make terrible decisions over and over again makes you feel better about your own choices. You haven't killed your husband to then marry his brother, then killed the brother to marry his recently widowed father. Oh! That's crazy. That's crazy! You appear intrigued by that story, Cass. Quite the dramatic tale, no? Asa leans closer to see what page you've paused at. A warm sensation prickles across your cheeks. Offer to read together and move away from him. What would I do? I don't know. Okay. Obviously, you've read it, right? It's your book, 4554. I'm gonna offer to read together. Because I think it would be funny. You're familiar with it. It is my book, after all. It must be good. If it still intrigues you after having already read it, would you like to read with me? A contented smile spreads across Vasili's face. I thought you'd never ask. How long have you been watching me read? Whenever somebody says, I thought you'd never ask, like the first question in my brain is always, how long have you been contemplating that? To say something like that. Oh, I think I just unlocked one of the graphics. He looks so fine here, actually. Together, Vasily and you embark on the treacherous heroine's story. Though the book's content tries to draw you into its world, you remain firmly anchored to in reality due to Vasily's proximity. Our leading lady is frightfully cunning. She's as compelling as she is respectable. Agree, disagree. She is cunning. I don't know if I respect the hustle though. I don't know the story either. You marry someone, kill him, marry his brother, kill him, marry their father. I mean, the father marrying you after you just killed his two sons, like, that's really his fault at that point. Okay, I'm gonna agree. Agreed. Anyone who chases their goals with this level of conviction is worth admiring. Oh no. Oh no! I did something wrong. I just complimented him. My bad, dog. I mean, well, we move on. Her methods of getting rid of these bodies could use some work, though. She'd be better off with water disposals rather than hiding them in her family mausoleum. She's putting them all in her family. That's stupid. You know what? I would have said something like that. Vasily lets out an airy chuckle. Oh, what? You amuse me. Good idea on your part, dear, but devastating in consequence. You see, the only water around our heroine's castle is their well. The corpse's impurities would surely taint their drinking water, thus killing everyone in the castle. Oh, well, yeah, you right. I appreciate you playing the killer, though, my dear. It was quite charming. Right, that's not weird. That's not weird. I feel uneasy at being compared to a killer, even in fiction, but oh, my bad, you feel uneasy. But you hold fast to your bravery and don't react. Even though Vasily sits so close beside you, you can't feel any heat emanating from him. Rather, he seems otherworldly, both in beauty and in coloring. His skin is almost alabaster, reminiscent of the bloodless bodies of the plague victims. But, okay, hold on, I'm confused. A symptom of his illness, perhaps. He tilts his head, and his long, russet locks dramatically curtain his face. It struck you that you had never seen him in daylight. What would he look like under the sun? Burning, probably, because he gets terrible rashes. Sorry. You could only imagine. His hair would surely dazzle like a gentle sunrise, while his face might finally look fair and radiant rather than unnaturally beautiful. It is your line. No way! I've always wanted to read like, I've always wanted to read like this. Where like, you like take turns voicing the characters, and like, is he looking at me? Oh! T. But like, where you take turns like voicing the characters and like making the story, like when you like read plays in school. But I wanted to do that in a more like intimate setting. Like, anyway. He turns, giving you a soft, slightly amused smile. Embarrassment floods through you. You've been caught staring at him. Oh, yes. Before you can find where you left off fast enough, Vasily sighs with satisfaction. I've missed such domesticity. Domesticity? Domesticity. I don't know how to say that. This intimacy. I would love to be closer to you, to spend more days in this manner. He says so unabashedly. Most would stutter through a confession like that to a stranger, but not Vasily. Though your time together has been scant, he treats you with fervent affection. Whether that makes him brazen or courageous, you've yet to decide. Regardless, you've never experienced positive attention like this before. Once in the thick of the plot, acting out the book with Vasily becomes so entertaining that you lose track of time. Slowly, your strength starts fading as your sickness catches up with you again. Vasily takes over your lines, and you gradually fall asleep to the sound of his soothing voice. You have another dream. No, that is not quite accurate. Rather, you have the same dream as last night. The woman in the black garment is there again, standing motionless in the darkness. However, this time she is clearer. You can see the details of the outfit she wears. Atop her head sits a regal headdress, and her dress is in the style of an old sarafan. Such clothing has been out of fashion longer than the village elders have been alive. You feel as if you stand before an icon of a time long forgotten. What does IKON mean in this Interesting. You're absolutely certain that the dress is the exact same one as the one you wore out with Vasily. On top of that, you can see a birthmark on her neck. Not a strand of hair peeks through the veil she wears. Like last time, she turns her head. But this time, the dream does not end. She looks at you. Her eyes move up and down slowly, as if inspecting you. Okay, my sister called me, so we're gonna have to leave off on this cliffhanger. Wait, I can't save it! Oh, I can save it! Sweet. Okay, we're gonna have to we are going to have to leave off on this cliffhanger. So sorry. But yeah, it's been cool, it's been chill. This is really, really interesting. I was gonna try and go all the way, but obviously I can't. I'm gonna try and record the other one after the call, but thank you For your time. I just noticed he has his hand out here. For your time. And sleep well.